Have you ever had a man kiss you uninvited and really catch you off guard on a date? Or maybe he moved over in the booth next to you and put his hand between your leg and you felt really nauseous. Or maybe you felt really pressured to have sex and you didn't know what to do. Well, where do you draw the line? In this video, I'm going to teach you boundary basics in dating so that you feel safe, sane, and secure. It is so important to have healthy boundaries in dating because not only does it create a really respectful dating experience, it sets the stage for a really healthy relationship in the future. So it's really important that you have healthy boundaries and you know how to implement them. And so let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries are the process of defining what's acceptable to you. Now, not setting boundaries in dating and relationships is the biggest mistake you can make because you teach people how to treat you. You give your power away when you don't have boundaries. So I thought it was really important to make a video about boundaries. Boundaries make you feel safe. Boundaries promote integrity. It lets people know what's acceptable to you and what's not. And it's really important that you convey that right up in front when you're dating so that you can feel safe. When you feel safe, you relax. And when you relax, everything goes so much better. But it's really important that you know where to draw the line to begin with. So let's go over these 5 tips that I want to give you to help promote this integrity. And these are just what I call the boundary basics. And so the first boundary basic is know your limits. You really need to know what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable when you're dating. So for the purpose of this video and everything that I teach, I am teaching women how to deliberately date and consciously create the man of their dreams. And so having said that, I'm teaching you all how to have a functional, committed relationship with a man, whether that leads to marriage or it leads to a long-term commitment, that's up to you. But this is where I'm coming from when I share this with you. And so you need to know your limits. If you're wanting to create a healthy, intimate relationship that lasts a lifetime, then you need to know what isn't acceptable to you. And that's what the first tip I want to give you is knowing your limits. And so you need to know if you're going to kiss a man on the first date, whether or not he's cute or not. Before you even go out, you need to make these values really clear to yourself. You really need to know where you're going to draw the line so that you don't send the wrong signals to a man. And also so you know when to step in and hold that boundary. And so here's what I recommend in terms of kissing and so forth. I think that a little kiss on the first date, or maybe even a little more of a kiss on the first date, is fine. If you're attracted to him, if you like him and the feelings are mutual. I don't recommend getting into major makeout sessions on a first date because they can escalate really fast, especially if there's chemistry, and it could cause you to do something you regret. And that may also lead to the man dismissing you as a potential life partner because you let him go too far. Men really respect women with healthy boundaries. They really don't expect you to sleep with them on a first date or expect you to really make out with them. I'm sure they're hopeful, but they need you to set the boundary and you need to draw the line. So know your limits, know what's acceptable to you, and be prepared to enforce that so that you have that high value. You hold the values that you've already decided before you met him what would be acceptable. And a good benchmark for that is, you do behave in a way that you'd want your daughter to behave. Even if you don't have a daughter, if you did have one, would that be okay if she was making out with the guy on a first date? Probably not, right? So use your common sense with that, but it's not necessary that you even kiss a man on a first date. You shouldn't have any expectation that you should do that, and only do it if you want to. So let's move on to the second tip that I'm going to give you for boundary basics in dating. Now, the second one is use a feather, not a hammer. I love this. Use a feather, not a hammer. And the reason why I love it is because nobody wants to be rejected, and sometimes men do push the limit, and it's up to you to rein him back in, but it's how you say something, not what you say. It's okay to set a boundary if he puts his hand between your legs. It's and it's okay for you to set that boundary. It's just how you do it. So I want you to use a feather. I want you to say, like, for example, say he's saying, come on, have another drink with me, and you don't want another drink. So you could just say, no, thank you. You don't have to be, no, you don't have to be really defensive. You can just say, no, thank you. No, thank you. Thanks for thinking of me, but I've got an early day tomorrow. And so it's how you deliver that, that boundary is so important. Men get rejected a lot. And I'm not saying that you don't hold a stronger boundary if they do something inappropriate, but it's how you say something. So if you don't want to kiss a man on a first date, all you have to do is say, you know what? I'm really enjoying getting to know you. I'm not there yet, but let's take it slow and see where it goes, and just have a smile on your face when you're saying that. And that's, honey is so much more tasty than vinegar, right? So we want to set those boundaries with a little honey, because it certainly will create more trust when you're not becoming really defensive and biting his head off if he does something that you don't like. Okay, now please share, like, and comment on my page so I can make more videos that support you in this process. And if you never want to miss an episode, just go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's go on to the third tip I'm going to give you for boundary basics. And so your power word is no. And the problem I have with, and you might have a problem with this too, and the problem I used to have is just saying no. Saying no is really hard, and I think for a lot of women it's hard because we want to please them. We don't want to disappoint people, and we've certainly been conditioned to say yes a lot more than to say no. But no, it really is your power word. And so I'm going to give you 3 levels of no that's really going to help you right now. And you need to practice these no's out loud so that when it comes time to use the word no, it's going to be automatic for you. And so no, the first no that I want you to use, to say it's a level 1. We're going to go to a 10. The first no is, say there's let's go back to the glass of wine. He's offering you a second or a third drink and you don't want it. You just have to say no, no, no. Just think like if a puppy, jumped on your leg or on your calf, you wouldn't yell at the puppy. You just say no, no, no. Do you see that tone? It's a no. It's a no. It's a nice, deep, rich no, but it's calm. And so it's a no, thank you. So that's a level 1 no. So let's go to a level 5. Let's say, for example, that he puts his hand on your leg. Now, he doesn't put it between your legs. He just sets his hand on your leg. But you just met him and you don't want him to put his hand on your leg. So you can turn to him and take his hand and put it back on his leg and say, no, no, not right now, or that's not going to work for me. Or so the tone is a little higher up. It's a little more energy to it, but it's definitely not a 10 where you just yell at him. So it's like, no, that's not going to happen. And it's no, a more clear no. No, that's not going to happen right now. Or you can say, slow down. I like to take things a little slower. And so I'm just using a little more force, but I'm being very clear that it's a clear no. And then a 10 would be the extreme where he puts his hand between your legs, puts his hand on your leg, but then he goes to put it between your legs, even if you're wearing a pair of denim. And it's like, no. Stop that. It's a 10. It's a no. It's a no. It's a no. So I'm doing this to demonstrate that I want you to practice this, because when the time comes and you're really uncomfortable because you haven't been setting boundaries and your boundaries have been crossed and you've had a lot of boundary violations, it's really good to have this practice on your belt. So practice the level 1, 2, and 3 before you go on a date. No, and a no, and no, so that you're ready with that. And again, going back to using that feather instead of a hammer, and it really does depend on the situation, but don't hesitate to use your power word, no. All right, so the 4th tip on boundary basics is listen to your body. Listen to your body. Your body is your temple. It is where your spirit, your intuition communicates with you. And it lets you know exactly if things are okay with you or not. When that guy went in for a kiss or he put his hand on your leg and you felt his queasy tummy, you felt a queasy tummy for a reason. That's your intuition letting you know through your physical sensations that what just happened wasn't okay with you. So you need to listen to your body. That's where the signals will come from to let you know if you're out of balance or in balance. It lets you know if it's okay with what you're okay with what he's doing or you're not okay with what he's doing. Because really, your intuition knows first. So you've got to pay attention to your body. That's why you have to be in your body. Don't go into your head. Be in your body so you can notice those physical sensations. Maybe he puts his arm around you and your shoulders get really tight because you don't want his arms around you. You just met him. He's a stranger. And so Make sure you pay attention to your body. It's really going to help you when it comes to deciphering the language of feelings, which is the language of your intuitive heart. It's the language of your intuition, and it flows through your physical sensation. So pay attention to that tightening in the chest, or the shallow breathing, or the pit in your stomach. They're there. They're messages sent to you to give you information about what's happening so that you can make a good decision for yourself and hold a boundary if you need to. All right, now stay to the very end because I have a free gift for you. I want to support you in this process. So the fifth and final tip that I'm going to give you for boundary basics is, I love this one, vote with your feet. I want you to vote with your feet. And what I mean by this is that sometimes things do get to the point where it's unacceptable. There's some kind of inappropriate behavior happening. Maybe your date drinks too much and he gets a little inebriated and he starts getting loud. I want to empower you to vote with your feet. And what I mean by this is you get up and you walk. Okay, get out of there. You don't owe anybody anything. And you certainly don't want to put yourself in a position where you're going to be physically harmed in any way or verbally abused in any way. And so if a man has drank too much, or he's going on and on talking about something, or he's being inappropriate in any way, and you don't feel comfortable, here's a couple things you can do. You can vote with your feet. You can say, I'm going to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. You can go to the bathroom and you can call an Uber, and then you can just slip out of the restaurant and text him saying, I got tired, I took off, have a nice evening. Or you can just not even come back. That's another thing. If a man's abusing you or he's being inappropriate in any way, you don't owe him an explanation. And so that's why I really recommend voting with your feet. If you have the courage, just stand up and say, you know what, thanks for the drink. Nice to meet you, but I've got an early morning. I'm going to be taking off. Bye-bye. And you turn around and you walk away. You do not wait for him to give you permission. You do not need to wait or anything. You're an adult and you have adult powers you didn't have when you're a powerless child. So I want you to use those adult powers and flex that muscle, which is your voice. Find your voice and vote with your feet. If anything that happens is disturbing you in any way. There's so many men in the world that are good men, that have values, that are gentlemen, that respect your boundaries, and they will not treat you that way. And so don't ever put yourself in a position where you don't feel like you can get up and leave. You can always call the waiter over for help. But voting with your feet is really powerful, and it'll empower you on future dates. I hope this was helpful, ladies. Hold those boundaries. Men will respect you for it. And all men are looking for a woman that they can respect, that they can take home to their mom, that they can introduce to their friends. And a woman that doesn't have boundaries is definitely not a woman that a man's going to see himself with long term. And so there's not only reason to protect your boundaries to keep yourself safe so that you can feel safe and secure in this process, but it also is because men really respect women that have healthy boundaries. Okay, my free gift to you is my soulmate assessment. Just go to soulmateiq.com right now and take my short quiz. I'm going to get on my mailing list. You're also going to get an assessment that tells you exactly what frequency you're vibrating at and how close you are to attracting your soulmate. And then I'm going to send you a feminine exercise along with that assessment to help you shift further into alignment so you can fast track your ability to manifest your soulmate. All right, ladies, go to soulmateiq.com and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being here today. Lots of love. Bye.